Hey, what's up guys? Tim here. I was actually in the middle of recording this video and my watch stopped it to start my walk workout. So that was fun. So I'm going to start over. January 3rd, 2025, 39 degrees. Tim, day 365 day devotional challenge. We're doing it again. I was using that arm to hold up the phone for the whole first video. So I'm going to hold this one now because that arm's tired. So it's cold. I'm wearing shorts. I've already been out here for about 10 minutes. So I'm getting pretty cold. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have worn shorts. Today, reading and listening through Mark 2. There's a story in Mark 2 about Jesus preaching in Capernaum in a house. Lots of people overflow into the outside. Everyone can't even fit inside the house, right? So there's the overflow outside. People are doing their best to hear. And Jesus is teaching and preaching. And there's a guy and his friends. And this guy really needs a miracle. Jesus isn't performing miracles. He's teaching and preaching, like we talked about yesterday. But this guy really needs a miracle. He's paralyzed. Can't walk. And his friends have so much faith that they lower him. They dig a hole in the roof and they lower him down so that Jesus can heal him. We've heard the story. If you've been around church or Christianity for any amount of time, you've heard this story, most likely. And there's a lot of nuance to this story. There's a lot of things you can preach about inside of this story. There's the meme that goes around of, the people you hang out with matter, because these guys' faith was so strong that they believed that Jesus would heal this man. And so he didn't even have to believe. They believed, so they brought him and, got him healed. So there's a faith story in there. But this is what happens. The man gets lowered down. Jesus looks at the man and says, "Son, your sins are forgiven." Well, this kind of irks the Pharisees, the religious leaders of the time a little bit, that are standing nearby listening, and they're like, "Wait a second, boo. You can't do that. Only God can do that." And Jesus kind of hears their thoughts and says, "Well, which of these things is easier to say? Your sins are forgiven, or pick up your mat and walk?" And there's a whole sermon inside of the pick up your mat and walk line, but we'll get into that another day. I'm sure I'll have time for it at some point in the next 362 days or whatever. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But what Jesus says is, which of these things is easier to say? Your sins are forgiven, or pick up your mat and walk? Well, obviously it's easier to say your sins are forgiven, because no one knows if that's true or not. The only thing that does is make you a blasphemer against God if you're not actually able to do that, because only God is able to do that. So if you're not the Messiah, if you're not Jesus Christ, then you're blaspheming. But if you are, then, you're not. But the point is, no one knows. No one knows until the end, right? There's no way to prove that his sins are forgiven. But there is a way to prove if he picks up his mat and walks. So Jesus says, "Hey, pick up your mat and walk." And the guy does. And there's a whole story in there. There's a whole sermon. Like I said, there's a whole sermon inside of that one line and what that line kind of can mean. But anyway, the cool thing is, or the thing that stood out to me today that I've never really gotten from this story before, is about what Jesus says. He asks the guys, what's easier to say? Your sins are forgiven, or pick up your mat and walk? The first thing that came to mind when I heard that today, never come to mind before, but it came to mind today, is, man, it's so easy to say we're Christian, right? It's so easy. It's easy to go to church. It's easy to put Christian in your social media profile. It's easy to say God bless you or thoughts and prayers when something bad happens to somebody. It's easy. That's easy. But what's more difficult? Actually doing it? That's freaking tough, man. That ain't easy. It's easy to say it. It's not easy to do it. But man, I'm not sure how to go the rest of the way with this. I'm not even sure what what that looks like. But that's just something that stood out to me. It's like, it's so easy to say, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday. But if people actually looked at you and you never said it, would they know it? I think that's the question, right? That's the question, yeah. If you didn't tell people that you were a Christian, would they know? Whew. That's getting me a little bit. If you didn't tell people that you were a Christian, would they know? Just think about that for a little bit and get back to me. So that's going to be my video for the day. I appreciate you guys watching. And pick up your mat and walk. Yeah? Show people what Jesus did. Show people that you're a Christian. Live that way. Don't just say it. Do it. It's hard. It's not easy. But it's worth it. Yeah. That's all I got, man. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for watching these videos and supporting me and encouraging me to do these and keeping me accountable. I love the comments that come through that keep me wanting to do it again. So yeah, man. Oh man, have a blessed day. God bless you guys. Love you. And I'll see you tomorrow.